again. My name is Annie Ruden, and in this video, you will learn how the Pronunciation Pro program works and how you are going to learn to speak clear, confident English in only 12 weeks. The goal of this program is for you to be understood and to be confident while you speak. You've spent years and years studying and practicing the English language. You are fluent in English, but if your pronunciation is unclear, then your message will not be heard or understood. For you to be effective in your English pronunciation, you must learn to speak English in a way that others will easily understand you. Learning and practicing the rules of pronunciation also bring great confidence. I had one client describe his experience in this way. Before this class, speaking English was like I was driving without knowing the rules of the road. Once I learned the rules, it gave me more confidence to drive. Learning the rules of pronunciation brings confidence to your speech because you know exactly what you have to do to be understood every time. I firmly believe that anyone can learn to use fluent English pronunciation no matter your age or whether you live here in the United States or in another country. The steps to learning English pronunciation are very structured, and if you follow this program step by step, you will be able to speak with clear pronunciation. The method of learning English pronunciation is different than the method of learning the English language. Learning the English language involves learning grammar and vocabulary, but learning English pronunciation is all about learning two things. One, you must learn the individual sounds of English, which include the unique vowels and consonants of the English language. And two, you must learn to use the correct rhythm of English. Just like every style of music has its own rhythm, every language has its own unique rhythm. In order to speak English fluently, you must learn how to use the rhythm of English. With very few exceptions, everyone is born with the ability to use the sounds and rhythm of any language. As a child, you developed the sound system of the language you were exposed to since birth. The sounds and rhythm of your first language became ingrained in you as you heard and spoke that language every single day. When you learn a second language, such as English, you naturally apply the sounds and rhythm of your first language to your second language. The problem is, English doesn't have the same sounds and rhythm as your first language. Every language is different. When you use the sounds and rhythm of your first language while speaking the English language, it creates an accent. Let me say that again. An accent is the carryover of the sounds and rhythm of your first language to your second language. If you are speaking English fluently, then you must learn to use the correct sounds and rhythm of English while speaking English. It can be done, and you're going to learn these skills during this course, but it does take practice. Think of it as learning to ride a bike. At first, it was very uncomfortable. You didn't know how to move your feet and hands. You didn't know how to balance. It took complete concentration to stay on the bike and move forward. You had to practice to make sure you could ride in a straight line. You had to learn how to stop, start, turn, and watch out for cars and light poles so you didn't run into them. Just because you understood how a bike worked didn't mean you knew how to ride one. It took practice for your muscles to become comfortable with the movement. You had to practice the movement over and over again. Eventually, your muscles learned how to move in that new way. Now that you've had many hours of experience riding a bike, you are able to ride with comfort and ease. You don't need to concentrate so much on the small movements of riding a bike. It just comes naturally. This is the same process for learning English pronunciation. English pronunciation is learning to move your mouth muscles in a new way. It's going to feel awkward and uncomfortable at first. It will take a lot of concentration in the beginning, but the more you practice, the easier and more comfortable it will become. The Pronunciation Pro program is specially designed to gradually build your skills, so by the end of the program, you understand all of the rules of pronunciation, and more importantly, you know how to use them in your speech. As you probably already know, there are many different accents spoken throughout the United States. If you were to go to the southern states, you will find that people speak a little different than the people on the East Coast, which is also different than the people living on the West Coast. In this program, you will learn to speak with the standard American English accent. The standard American English accent is frequently called the accent without an accent, because it's the style of English that is most recognized and understood by the majority of Americans. It's the accent or pronunciation that is used by those on television who report the national news. By learning the standard American English accent, you will learn to speak English in a way that will be understood by all English speakers. Now let's talk about the 6 steps to learning English pronunciation. Number 1, you must decide and commit. I want you to decide right now that you are going to follow this program for the full 12 weeks. The results you'll get from this program will lead to you making more money, getting a better job, and having more opportunities in your career. But those wonderful benefits will not come to you unless you commit to follow through with this program for the full 12 weeks. You must commit to watching the videos and practicing every day. It's not difficult work, but it does take steady and consistent effort every single day. In 12 weeks, you can either be exactly the same as you are today, or you can speak clear and confident English. It's your decision, and that decision needs to be made right now. The second step to learning English pronunciation is learning the rules. This step is up to me. It's my job to teach you how to speak with fluent English in a way that is easy for you to understand. I am here to help you to learn, so please give me feedback as to what would be helpful. Remember that the process of learning English pronunciation takes time. Don't be in a hurry to learn it all in the first 2 weeks of the program. The lessons are structured for you to gradually learn the rules of pronunciation so you can successfully use them in your speech. The third step to learning English pronunciation is to listen. I'll know you are being successful in your English pronunciation training when you begin to correct your own errors. This program is designed to help you hear the difference between the way you are currently saying the sounds and words in English and the way an American says the sounds and words. Once you are able to hear the difference, then you will be able to correct your own errors in your pronunciation. It will take some time, but it will happen as you learn to listen. The fourth step to learning English pronunciation is to learn the correct mouth movements. In this program, you will learn where to put your tongue, lips, teeth, and mouth so that you can make the correct sounds of English. As long as your mouth is in the correct position, you will be able to make the sounds that are unique to English. The fifth step to learning English pronunciation is to practice. I've talked about it already, but the most important part of this program is for you to practice every day. The work is not difficult, but you must be consistent in your practice. For this program, you are encouraged to practice for 30 minutes a day. If you practice more than 30 minutes per day, your pronunciation will be better than average. If you do not practice for at least 30 minutes every day, I cannot promise you the same great results. Just like anything else worthwhile, you can't get the results without the effort. And finally, the sixth step to English pronunciation is to use it in your daily conversations. Your new pronunciation skills will be useless unless you remember to use them in your daily conversations in English. At first, it will take more concentration to use your new pronunciation skills while you speak, but eventually, if you practice, the sounds will become much more comfortable and natural for you to use. Those are the 6 steps to learning English pronunciation, which again are 1. Decide and commit, 2. Learn the rules, 3. Listen, 4. Learn the correct mouth movement, 5. Practice, and 6. Use it in daily conversation. Now, I told you before that learning English pronunciation is all about learning 2 things. 1, you must learn the sounds of English, and 2, you must learn to use the correct rhythm of English. Let me explain how you will learn these 2 very important keys to English pronunciation. Let's start with learning the sounds of English. There are 56 different sounds used in the English language. You do not have to learn all 56 sounds in this course. The sounds you'll be working on are only those sounds that you are saying incorrectly. Based on your first language, there are generally some sounds that tend to be more difficult for you. Your initial evaluation also tells us which sounds you need to work on. For every sound you will work on during this course, you will follow the same pattern. First, I will explain how the sound is made by showing you the correct mouth shape and movement. Next, you will do a listening exercise or quiz to help you tune your ear to the correct sound versus the sound you are making. Next, you will practice saying the correct sound in words, then in sentences, and then you'll practice the correct sound while reading a paragraph. Now, I want to emphasize something that is very important. As I model the new sounds in each lesson, you will notice that I overemphasize the target sound so much that it might sound unnatural. This is done purposefully, and I want you to resist the urge to rush through the sounds as you practice. You are training the muscles in your mouth to move in a new way. With practice and repetition, these new muscle movements will become more natural for you. As you start to increase your speed when you say them, your mouth will still be able to make the correct sounds even at a faster pace. But for now, focus on practicing the sounds just as I model them. Gradually, through this program, you will then incorporate your new skills into reading and conversation. Each level gets progressively more difficult, but as you follow the directions in the video, you will be successful at each level. In addition to learning the correct sounds of English, you will also learn to use the correct rhythm of English. Using the correct rhythm of English is sometimes even more important than saying every sound correctly. It's when you use the correct rhythm of English that others will understand you the best. Using the correct rhythm involves using all of the following. First, you have to use the correct word stress. Word stress is knowing which part of the word needs to be stressed or emphasized. For example, in English, there are many words that are spelled the same but have different meanings depending on the way we stress the word. For example, the word desert is a noun meaning a dry climate, but desert is a verb meaning to leave or abandon someone or something. Desert, dessert. Do you hear the difference there? We'll also talk about sentence stress. Sentence stress refers to the way we stress or unstress certain words in our sentences. Next, we have intonation. Intonation is the rising and falling of our pitch while we speak. There are rules that tell us when our voice needs to go up and when it needs to fall. We'll also talk about linking. A fluent English speaker does not talk like this with every word separated. We talk like this with our words connected. You will learn how to connect your speech so it sounds nice and fluid. Next is pausing. Although you need to connect your speech, you also need to know when it's appropriate to pause. Appropriate pausing is very important for effective communication. And finally, we'll talk about rate of speech. Many non-native English speakers speak entirely too fast, which makes it very difficult for a native speaker to understand. In this course, you will learn and practice using the correct rate of speech. Learning how to use all of these skills will help you speak using the correct rhythm of English. I know it sounds like a lot, but through this 12-week course, we will progressively layer these skills one by one in a very natural way. Again, these skills are word stress, sentence stress, intonation, linking, pausing, and rate of speech. Through this course, you will learn all of these skills of English pronunciation. You will learn how to use the correct sounds and rhythm of English so you can speak clearly and confidently. During the first 6 weeks, you will learn a lot of new information about pronunciation. Just follow the directions step by step and you'll do fine. After the first 6 weeks of the course, you will begin to do more exercises that will help you bring all of your new skills together in reading and conversation. You might feel that your progress is slow at the beginning, but by the end, you'll be making much bigger improvements from week to week. I'm excited for you to take this course. I've seen many people change their lives as they work to improve their English communication skills through this program. Decide now that you are going to follow this course, and I know that through the next 12 weeks, you will change your life for the better.